Microsoft just took the gloves off. The global AI battlefield just got messier. And the target? A rising Chinese AI app that exploded onto the scene, then got banned by one of the most powerful tech companies in the world. This app, called DeepSeek, was hailed as a ChatGPT killer until Microsoft dropped a bombshell and officially banned it from employee use. Why? Because they believe it's not just an app. It's a digital threat tied to foreign surveillance and propaganda. But the real question is, what do they know that we don't? Is DeepSeek just a smart chatbot or a Trojan horse feeding the Chinese government our data? Today, we're going deep. You'll find out what Microsoft discovered behind the scenes, why multiple governments are now blacklisting this AI, and what this means for the future of AI freedom worldwide. And trust me, you're going to want to see how this plays out, because it's bigger than ChatGPT, Gemini, or even Claude. But first, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon. We bring you the fastest, boldest AI updates before anyone else on the internet. Let's jump in. Let's start with the shock heard around the AI world. On May 8, 2025, during a U.S. Senate hearing focused on the dangers of foreign AI platforms, Brad Smith, Microsoft's vice chairman and president, made a statement that instantly sparked global headlines. At Microsoft, we don't allow our employees to use the DeepSeek app. That's right. Microsoft didn't just warn against the Chinese AI tool, they outright banned it across their entire workforce. Why? Because according to Microsoft, DeepSeek poses two major risks. 1. Sensitive data exposure, and 2. Propaganda influence originating from the Chinese government. This isn't a hunch. This is coming from one of the world's most influential tech giants, whose infrastructure supports billions of users globally. Let that sink in for a moment. Microsoft believes that DeepSeek's integration into employee workflows could allow classified internal communications, including AI model feedback, engineering notes, and strategic product development, to be leaked into the hands of foreign intelligence. Even more chilling, DeepSeek may subtly inject state-aligned messaging under the radar, using its AI responses. This ban isn't limited to internal policy. Microsoft confirmed that DeepSeek will not be listed in the Windows App Store, ensuring it stays off Microsoft devices at scale. And in today's environment, where AI is practically embedded into every corner of productivity and innovation, this move isn't just corporate hygiene, it's strategic self-defense. Microsoft drew a clear red line. AI built in adversarial nations is no longer welcome in their ecosystem. This is more than a ban. It's a statement of wariness, protection, and perhaps even the first sign of a broader movement across Silicon Valley. And here's the key, this was not leaked by insiders. This was said on the record, in public, during a U.S. Senate hearing, which means they wanted the world to hear it. So the question becomes, what exactly is DeepSeek doing behind the scenes to make Microsoft go public like this? Let's explore that next. Now let's talk about the AI app that's shaken up Silicon Valley, and why it's suddenly being treated like a national threat. The app is called DeepSeek, and if you haven't heard of it yet, that's about to change. Developed in China, DeepSeek is powered by an open-source large language model known as DeepSeek v3, trained on a massive corpus of multilingual internet data. It boasts lightning-fast generation speeds, shockingly human-like conversations, and advanced code generation capabilities. In fact, just a few months ago, it overtook ChatGPT to become the most downloaded free app on the Apple App Store globally. On the surface, it's sleek, smart, and futuristic. But what's under the hood is raising red flags, especially in Western governments and corporations. Here's why. First, data location. DeepSeek's backend servers are based in mainland China, meaning all inputs, queries, and behavioral data could legally be accessed by the Chinese government under their surveillance laws. Second, model control. While the DeepSeek team brands itself as open source, multiple cybersecurity watchdogs have reported modifications between the public model and the app's live version, meaning what you type may be training something you never see. Third, hidden influence. Analysts warn that subtle language patterns and biased answer generation could be used to amplify pro-China narratives or censor controversial terms, much like how some Chinese-owned platforms handle politically sensitive topics. Think about that for a second. A rapidly rising AI tool that learns from your inputs, stores them offshore, and possibly filters reality through a geopolitical lens. Is that something you'd want running in a Fortune 500 company's ecosystem? Microsoft doesn't think so. And neither do Italy, Taiwan, or the US Navy, all of whom have taken action against it. But it begs the question, if DeepSeek is such a threat, how did it rise so fast? What's the appeal, and how far has it already spread? Let's break down the global response in the next chapter. Microsoft isn't the only one taking action, not by a long shot. Around the world, governments and tech regulators are drawing hard lines against DeepSeek. What started as a red flag in one company has quickly escalated into a worldwide wave of bans and crackdowns. Let's take a look. Italy was one of the first to move. Their data protection watchdog investigated DeepSeek earlier this year and found massive violations of Europe's GDPR laws. Users weren't clearly told how their data was collected or used, and worse, reports suggest biometric data may have been stored without consent. Taiwan followed shortly after. Their government banned the use of DeepSeek across all public sector offices, citing national security concerns. The official reason? DeepSeek's data routing could expose sensitive communications to foreign surveillance. Then came the United States, where the response has been even more aggressive. The US Navy issued an internal warning against installing DeepSeek on any government-connected devices. Congressional offices were advised to remove the app from all phones. NASA and Department of Defense branches added DeepSeek to internal threat lists. And if that wasn't enough, Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed an executive order banning DeepSeek, along with another Chinese app, from all state-issued devices. In his words, "We will not allow foreign adversaries to exploit Texans' personal information." This isn't fear-mongering, this is systemic top-down policy. And it's not just government bodies. Major corporations in finance, defense, and biotech are reportedly starting internal audits to identify whether DeepSeek, or similar tools, are running inside their organizations. This level of pushback shows that we're not dealing with just another app. DeepSeek has triggered something much bigger. A growing consensus that foreign AI systems are no longer neutral tools, but possible vectors of influence. So what's the deeper play here? Why are AI tools suddenly being treated like weapons? Let's zoom out in Chapter 4. To really understand what's going on here, we need to step back from the headlines and look at the bigger picture. Because this isn't just about one app. This is about who controls the next generation of intelligence. For years, AI was seen as a tool, a neutral assistant. But in 2025, it's no longer just software. AI is now power, it's narrative control, it's influence at scale. If social media shaped opinions in the 2010s, AI is about to shape belief systems in real time. Through chatbots, search engines, voice assistants, and even the code we write. That's where the fear around DeepSeek really comes from. On paper, it's a smart chatbot, but under the surface, it's something far more potent. Because it can, 1. Learn how we think, mimic our speech patterns, gather behavioral data. 4. And potentially inject subtle ideological biases into every answer. What if DeepSeek avoids discussing topics like Taiwan's independence, Hong Kong protests, or Uyghur camps? What if it reframes questions with state-preferred narratives without you even realizing it? That's not just censorship, that's algorithmic influence. And it's invisible to the average user. Now imagine that kind of AI being used inside US corporations, universities, or government offices. It's not hard to see why Microsoft and others are calling this a national security risk. Because in the AI age, language is a weapon, and whoever owns the algorithm owns the battlefield. DeepSeek is just the first of many AI platforms that will raise this concern. And as governments scramble to draw lines between safe and hostile AI, we may be witnessing the first true divide in the global AI ecosystem. A split not by platform, but by politics. So, where does this all lead? Let's talk about that next. What we're seeing now isn't just an isolated ban or corporate caution. It's starting to feel like the opening chapter of something much bigger. The first shots fired in a new kind of Cold War. But this time, the weapons aren't missiles or tanks. They're algorithms. The battle is no longer about territory. It's about who controls the language models that control the narrative. Let's break this down. On one side, we have the Western AI Alliance, led by OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, Anthropic's Claude, and Elon Musk's Grok. These systems are largely developed in democratic societies, with open debate and semi-transparent oversight. On the other, we now see the rise of Eastern AI contenders, DeepSeek from China, Baidu's Ernie Bot, and others that may be tightly interwoven with state agendas. Each side is racing to make their models smarter, faster, and more integrated into daily life, from smart homes to hospitals, banks, schools, and even courtrooms. But here's the critical truth. If one side's AI dominates, so does their value system. Every response generated, every suggestion offered, every filter applied reflects ideological DNA. That's why Microsoft's ban isn't just a defensive move. It's a line in the sand. A signal that the AI world is splitting, not by capabilities, but by alignment. And this divide won't stop with DeepSeek. Expect more apps to get banned. Expect countries to develop their own national LLMs. And expect the internet to become fragmented by AI borders. Invisible lines that decide what truth looks like based on who built the algorithm. So, is this an AI Cold War? All signs point to yes, and the battlefront is already live. But this time it's not soldiers fighting, it's code, it's ethics, it's control over how billions of humans learn, think, and believe. And that's a war we can't afford to ignore. This is no longer just about an app. This is a warning shot in a global power shift. Microsoft has drawn the line. DeepSeek has crossed it. And the AI world may never look the same again. Because the next era of artificial intelligence won't be defined by who builds the smartest chatbot. It'll be decided by who controls the narrative, the data, the decisions, and ultimately, the truth. Whether you're a developer, a student, a parent, a business owner, the AI Cold War will touch your life, your tools, your devices, your freedom to access information. So ask yourself, should the AI answering your questions be silently shaped by foreign governments? Or should we protect digital sovereignty before it's too late? This story isn't over. DeepSeek is just the beginning. More bans are coming, more platforms will be exposed, and the battle lines between West versus East AI will only get sharper. The AI battlefield is real. The stakes? Higher than ever. And you've just witnessed day one. Subscribe now. Because on this channel, we don't just follow the news, we break it before anyone else. Hit that bell so you're the first to know when the next strike happens. And drop a comment. Do you believe Microsoft did the right thing banning DeepSeek? This isn't just tech news anymore. This is a global showdown for the soul of artificial intelligence. And we're bringing you front row access. See you in the next upload, where the future gets even more dangerous, unpredictable, and intelligent.